Good morning, everyone. We are going to do a quick run through of some TPS setups. The market is pushing to near new highs on the SPY, and we've touched new highs today, July 3rd, on the Qs. So we have a lot of names that are setting up with nice TPS style patterns, and I thought we could mark those up to get ready for next week, because it's going to be most likely a little quiet today leading into the 4th. We're off for Friday, so next Monday we'll be in full force and ready to make some trades here. So our first one is one a lot of us in the room are in. We marked up yesterday, did a video on that. This is OLLI, right? OLLI. We're playing this on the 130, 195 minute chart. We can see here we have our value area low at around 97, our value area high at around 99.50, and this thing's just hovering below 100. It's actually coming into a pretty nice spot here, pretty nice risk reward spot, this support level at 97. So as you can see, I have a box drawn in here for about a 3-to-1 risk reward trade. I grabbed a little of this yesterday as it came down into this point of control level. So that's OLLI to start. I also found MSI I like. We're kind of looking at MSI here on this 65-minute chart. I like this pattern quite a bit. It's right under all-time highs, right? If we go out to the daily, that chart is a beauty. We have earnings coming August 1st. So if we're going to play this on a higher time frame chart, look at that 130. That is a plus setup, right? We have our move up, our spike high, our consolidation, and we have a turn in the momentum to the upside. So if we're going to mark this one up, I'm going to come in here and put a point of control level down here. This is on the larger time frame, 195. I'm going to put a high up here. Now, what I didn't do on this one, on MSI, was I didn't check to see if the options would be good or not. Yeah, options are playable. Okay, so we could even go out and play. They're a little on the expensive side, but we can even go out and play the August ones if we like those. I'm going to come in and draw a value area low for this pattern at about there, right? As you can see, it lines up right there. And then as I start to get closer, lower time frame, I'm going to start seeing some more data here. So really what I see is kind of a trend line forming here. And then I see another sort of point of control level, secondary point of control level, kind of is that at that 388 mark. And then even another one here at 385. So what I'm going to do is draw, this is how I like to do it when there's not a super clear spot. I'd like to pick this up somewhere inside this box. Right? And then I want to know what my extension looks like. I like that this is sitting right under 400. Right? 400 is a long way to go, but if we can find an entry on this, my targets would be probably my main target would be a touch of this high, the previous spike high. And then I would actually carry a trailer, depending on how many of these options I wanted to take, up into 400, maybe a single trailer up into 400. And because I only have monthlies on this, I would probably play the August, because that's when we have, would I be playing the, yeah, I would play the August 16th, because that's when we're going to get our earnings series. So that's a potential plan on MSI. Yep. Yeah, you could buy the 400s. You could buy the 390s. Spreads are kind of big. Spreads are kind of big for that. You know, the July 19ths are not too bad. So you could also do a put credit spread for the. Well, I wouldn't want to play the. I do the put credit spread for the July 19ths. Because the August 16ths are not going to deteriorate quite as fast from theta, right? So next one we all know is CAVA. We have a plan here on CAVA. I would like to pick CAVA up off of this, basically this 91 level, or somewhere along this ascending triangle trend line right here, right? So CAVA's coming up into its resistance level. It might break out and go without. I do not have this currently, but this is an all-time high here, I believe. Do I have that right? Yeah. And this is an ascending triangle that typically the break happens on the third go. It creates a double top and then pushes on the third. And we just had a pretty sweet example of that. And I'm trying to remember what's in a cup and handle. God, I was just looking at it a minute ago. It's not OLLI. Something went today. I can't remember. I'll maybe come across it. Maybe it's in this list. Okay. Next one is Spot. I like Spot here. I mean, it's even looking great on the daily, but I like this portion of the pattern right here. And I like that we're in a pretty clear trend line up. And we have kind of a nice value area high being put in kind of right. I want to say it's about right. Let's get a little closer. I mean, we have some like a sort of an intermediary value area high level, which I'm going to put in about right here. Right, if we can get up above that, this is our point of control, and this is our ascending trend line, right? This is a lot like, what was the other one we were trading? Well, kind of like CAVA in the sense that, you know, we have a point of control and a ascending trend line that is, you know, kind of matching up pretty close to where price might be, and that would be a great spot to pick that up. I am also shooting for a touch of this high here, which I'll make green. And I'm in this from yesterday on the dip. So that's my sort of primary target. And then I have a secondary trailing target at about 350. I like that as a magical not magical, but psychological number. And it's certainly within range for something like Spotify. AFL here. I like AFL on, I believe it was a 78 minute. Let's just check here. Yeah, 78. We might even go all the way up to, oh yeah, we have an A plus on this 130. You can see that. We have our rounding momentum here. Let's just check AFL. AFL has weeklies, good spreads, so we're in business here. AFL is, I don't know that it's right under all time. Yep, it is right under all time highs. We have earnings coming up July 31st. So you could play the July 30th. What would those be? The August 2nds. Oh, those are pretty spready. That's interesting. It's like the earnings one, or I'd be watching the August 2nds to see if those spreads tighten up any. All right. And then on this one, I'm going to come in and draw kind of my value area low down here at about 89. And then I will probably adjust once I get a little closer. I'm going to come in and put my point of control in here at about 89.15. Right, so then my value area low is at 88.69. I'm going to put a initial target at 91. And then I'm going to use my fib tool, draw this piece, maybe a secondary target at 91.83 or 92, kind of some nice round numbers. I do like that this is sitting under 100. But that move is going to be a more sustained move, right? So then I come in here to like a 3-minute chart and we look at that data a little closer. And we say, all right, well, our point of control is at a great level. All right, we could check our value area low here and see maybe we'd want to move that down to one of these spike lows. And we could do that. If we wanted to buy off that point of control, we could just check that our risk reward would be at least worth it here. That's a 2-to-1 to the target. And to the secondary target, that would be about a 3-to-1. And so on this one, I would say you can kind of see this node here, right? This piece right here. The point of control sticks out kind of on the high side. I would also draw a box here and say, I would like this, somewhere in here for a pickup. Somewhere in that sort of 89.25 to 88.94. Did it? This buy just pop to new highs? Oh boy. Yeah, it looks like it, or at least touched it. Oh, are you losing sound on me? Okay, so that's kind of a plan on AFL. Being that we're trading the 130, right? Did I say that 130? Yeah. The 130, and we have earnings. Was earnings close? I can't remember now. 31st, 160. Those are kind of spready. It gets a little spready. This could be a put credit spread as well if you didn't want to buy options straight up. Let's see what we have. We might even have a little something. No, I don't like that. What about? Nah. Okay, so that's AFL. It's not my favorite of the ones we've been looking at, but it's definitely a decent trade plan on a stock that is clearly in an uptrend, right? Got DOC, and keep in mind I'm going through these pretty fast, so if you have questions, we can kind of talk about that a little later. But I'm just kind of showing you, I went through the scans to pick these first, and now I'm just creating trade plans or possible trade plans, just marking up these charts in case I come across them again or check them on Monday and decide, hey, you know what? I think I'd really like to take a trade on this. I already know where my levels are, right? There's my point of control level. There's a pretty clear sort of value area high here, and we'll look a little closer here in a minute, and then I would use these two sort of spike lows as my stop levels, right? You can see the sort of the wedge pattern that I put in there. You could even come in and say, okay, we're kind of making a pennant or a flag here, right? And then as we drill down and look at this on a smaller time frame chart, right, we can see this looks like it's kind of getting ready to go, if I'm being honest. However, come on. It's kind of interesting. We have kind of a secondary point of control here. Oh, wait. Here at like 1939. This one's a pretty low priced. I wonder what the options are. I'm gonna maybe bail on this one because the options are pretty darn spready. Yep. We're gonna take doc and we're gonna cut it. Right? TJX, I believe on the 130, 195 looks pretty darn good. I do know that TJX is going to have some good options. So here's a much clearer value area low, right? And then we'll come up maybe, interesting. Let's see how that looks there. 111.12. And then of course we're going to come in here and put in our value, our point of control. And then we're going to drill down and look at this a little closer and see if our levels are correct. Yeah, look, we have a little breakdown and reclaim there. I think I would move my value area high to there, 111.34. Point of control looks good right there. I'm going to put an alert down here at like 110 because I don't like, what I don't like about this one is the point of control sits kind of right in the middle and there's not a lot of spike high here to play into. So my goal on something like this would be to, buy off our support level and maybe flip it out with a trailer on the resistance level, and then see if that wants to continue its move higher. But we don't get a really clear sort of spike high TPS, woodpecker pattern, right? It's not quite as clear. but we've got some clear lines in here for TJX so that when we come to this later, right, if we click on it or our alert gets hit, we can immediately know, where our levels are, value area low, value area high, point of control, and whether we want to take a trade on it, and if there's good risk reward there, right? TTD. I think I was looking at this on the daily, right? This is hella extended right now. It's pushing new highs at the moment. But I'm just going to, I'm going to get rid of the rest of these drawings. I'm just going to put in a red line here at this point of control level. And then I'm going to set an alert on it so that if we get a pullback into that level, right? Look at this on the daily. Look how many times this thing has respected the 21. Yeah, we got a little spike through here, 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 right? So I want to look for a time when, and we're already through today. So maybe Friday or Monday, we get the 21, a pull down to the 21 and the point of control for a buy for a continued move higher, right? So I don't even really need to mark that up further than that point of control level and putting an alert there so that it lets me know when it comes down into it, right? And it's just pierced through 100 too, which is pretty interesting. So we'll see what it wants to do. I will definitely wait for a reversal on this or a reversal signal because it just pierced 100. It might roll for a little bit because that's kind of a psychological number. Crowd. I like this pattern on, was it a 195? Yeah, this 195 chart looks gorgeous. I wish I would have picked it up yesterday. Or not yesterday. Would that have been earlier today, maybe? Oh, yeah. Yep, that would have been a great pickup. So I'm going to put point of control level in there. And then I'm going to come in and identify a value area low. We had a breakdown and a reclaim of that level. And then this pattern, this is a earnings winner. Look, we've got, where do I want to put that level? And ultimately, it's kind of up in here, isn't it? This is our pattern. And so what I'm looking for on crowd would be a move down into this area. So let's add an alert. It might make its move without us, but it also might work its way back into this 382.20 or even 377.58. And that's what I would like to see. So I have an alert set here at the 382.21. I know my highs and my lows of my patterns where I'd like to pick things up. I could even come in here and put in kind of a secondary, I don't know what you want to label that. You can label that whatever you want, maybe like a blue, as kind of a very, very bottom of the pattern. I mean, you could, if you like, bring this down, but then that just sort of opens up the pattern a little bit more. I'd like to see something. I'd like to try and buy something off of this level here if we get a pull down into there. And then I would be targeting probably 400 here. Okay. Netflix, we don't necessarily need to mark up. I just had this on my chart. Here's my point of control, right, at 678 area. And then I'll be interested to see kind of what it wants to do it's an interesting sort of pattern here. When is earnings? The 18th. Wow, that's an A+ setup on the 195. Man, where would I want to pick this up? Maybe down here. At 670.87 roundabouts. So I'm gonna just put an alert there. Just let me know if it comes into that area. Let's put a value area high there. And then, see, this is kind of a wider ranged pattern. So then you kind of have value area high and low, and then you have 2 pointed controls within that pattern in which to potentially take shots. And there's almost 3 there. But you can see how this has been working within this pattern, right? And we're going to work our way up to there. It's up today quite a bit. We'll see if it wants to break out with the rest of the market. It's definitely not going to do that today. Milwaukee Mike, why 400? Because 400 is you're talking about crowd, right? Is a nice psychological number. And I bet, no, it's going to be past that. And there's our 1272 extension. It's right above 400. So when we're trading right below a psychological number, that will usually become like that next target, right? All right, so we did Netflix. We did PANW. Oh, here's PANW. PANW looks great. I'm going to come in. It's kind of right at its point of control. And then we'll probably have, let's see, how do I want to set this up? Maybe a value area low there, even though we've had a big breakdown there. Then I think we'll have another one right up here. But then we'll have sort of a secondary point of control right in here. That's a tough one. I would like to see, that kind of sits under 350. You can maybe put 350 in as, that's kind of a stretch. But PNW, when it moves, it'll move fast. So maybe 350 is the target. So, the first target is maybe 350, 345 here, or this value area high. I would wait a little for a pickup. So if I'm looking here, right, I want to shoot for, even if I'm doing that, that's only a 1. It's not even a 2-to-1. Maybe if I'm pushing up a little bit. Kind of a 2-to-1. I would like this lower if I can get it. So maybe if we get a move back down into 339. So I'm going to put an alert down there. I'd like to get this one a little bit closer to our support level. And I do know that PANW has some good options. They're expensive, but I like this chart. And we're not playing an earnings series or anything like that. So, okay. So then we have ANET. I just have ANET on here because it's pushing, right? It's near all-time highs. I don't really have a trade on it, but I want to keep checking it as it comes down. COHR. This one on like a 78 minute? No, it's higher than that. 130, 195. Is it in a daily? Not quite. I mean, yes, but. Okay, so we're going to look at this one on the 195. And I'm going to come in here, put my point of control right there. This one is not quite as clear on a value area low, although what I would probably do here is come into that spike high and draw a somewhat value area low here. You can just see it's more of a just a level, that spike high, and then it's respected again here nearly twice as a support level. There's our point of control, and then let's get a little closer to this one. We've also got a bit of a trend line forming here. Let's put a double in there. We kind of have this sort of a thing forming. So let's see where we'd go from here. 1272 would be 77. Yeah, this thing is just sort of trending up. So maybe a buy somewhere inside of this little trend gap we've created with a stop below the point of control if you wanted to keep it real tight. But you can see we've come up and we've essentially said 1, 2, 3, but we're putting in lower, we're creating this ascending triangle, right? We're putting in higher lows, and we keep testing that. So it's just going to get tighter and tighter here, I think, and then move forward. So COHR, let's just check to make sure. Options are okay. Ooh, they are a little spready, aren't they? Yeah, they're a little spready. Maybe a credit spread, potentially, right? But that one's marked up. What do we have? Costco. Where was Costco? Is that on a daily, if I remember correctly? Not quite. 195. This one's a beauty. All right, we're going to come in and say, all right, if I can, here's my value area low. That's a pretty clear level, right? And then I'm going to say, all right, we're trying to break out of this level right here. So I'm going to put that, whoops. I don't know why it does that sometimes. All right, I'm going to say 160 is that level there. And then I'm going to say, all right, let's put a point of control level in here. Let's go right there. Make it red. I mean, we're kind of right under 900. So if we do that, that doesn't quite get us to 900. So let's put, but when Costco moves, Costco can move, right? So we'll do that. We'll go down here. We'll look at a 5-minute chart. Okay, we're coming up into the resistance level. So we want this to give us a nice pullback. Let's see here. Yeah, we'd really like this off of 846. You see that? So, you know, if we did that, our stop level would be there. Our first target would be a touch of the high there. So I don't know. There we go. That's almost a 5-to-1 risk reward, but we have to let this thing pull back. Right now it is sitting at this resistance level. And it might decide to go without us. Right? But that's where I would like to pick that up. So I'm going to add an alert there. 2 more to go. We've got GoDaddy. Oh God, GoDaddy is just out of here. There's not really a trade on GoDaddy, but I just want to keep it on watch. Okay, I'm going to put an alert here on that point of control level. Just so I know if we get a pullback into that in the morning sometime, then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put a little value area low, just so I know where that is. And those are really the only 2 things I need on this chart right now. And then you know what? I'm going to come in here and put another red line in way down here at 123.65. Just in case we get, you know, like that huge pull. Like you wake up Friday or Monday and this thing's in a free fall, just to kind of know where that bounce point is. You see all this air in between here, right? Here on the VP, there's just not a lot to support a move. If it broke below this, you know, you're not really going to see much support until kind of this area here. So I just kind of want to know that that's there, although I don't think it's coming into that level. And then finally, let's mark up TMUS. I think TMUS looks good on, are we all the way up to a lot of 195s. Is this one good on the daily? Let's see what our market's doing. All right. Let's see. I want to know. I need some better levels on here. That's interesting. That must be from all of that traffic right there. Let's get a little closer. Let's hit that. Whoops. And then I would say there's probably a line there that we could make yellow, somewhere around there. And then let's start to get a little closer and see what we've got here. Well, this is an interesting one to try and trade. However, probably another one right there. Interesting. This is a tough one to try and find a spot in which to make a good entry. So I'm just going to come in here and mark some of these. And then I'm going to try and keep an eye on this. To see if it gives us a decent entry point. But I do like this a lot. I mean, I guess if you're just looking from here to here, we kind of have an ascending triangle, except we entered that ascending triangle in the wrong direction. So it's more like a I don't know. I can't seem to get my head around a clear entry on TMUS. So I think I would need to wait for it to, I almost feel like I'd need to wait for it to break above this level and retest. But anyway, I've got that marked up. So as I come back to it next week, I know where my levels are. I know what the pattern's doing. So I'm more informed on whether I jump into something with TMUS. Okay, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We marked up 15 charts in the span of, 40 minutes. Is that remotely helpful, or is that just like useless information? And I know I'm just sort of babbling along as I'm marking these up, but this is what you have to be able to do. Well, in my opinion, this is what you have to be able to do when you've got a bunch of charts that you're looking at and you want to try and set up a trade plan, or you want to evaluate a chart quickly. You need to be able to draw these lines, look at where price is, and make decisions on, do I like this chart? Does this give me a clear entry? What's my risk reward? And the more you do this, sorry, they're mowing the grass outside. The more you do this, the more you will get used to being able to do it fast and almost right when you see the chart, right? That way, if something gets alerted in the room, you can then pull up the chart, mark it up really quickly, decide whether it fits your risk profile, and either trade it or decide not to. I do, new trader. I'll send that to you in just a second. Does anybody have any questions? Jamie, I did record this session and I'll post it up after we're done. Sorry, I'm catching up on chat here. Yeah, I will, Steve. I will post this in about 10 minutes once I jump off. Jay, I'll try to do this once a week. I forget. A lot of times I forget how just kind of going through this kind of stuff, whether I'm coming up with an actual trade or not, is just valuable to sit and listen to and watch. So I'm happy to do my musings on mic. I always feel like unless it's a day like this, I always feel pressure to mark up a chart and then have an active trade. Take an active trade. I use Fibonacci usually for my extensions in terms of targets and stuff. I also use it just to measure symmetry sometimes. There's plenty of videos on those. Sam still isn't working. Brian, my recommendation. I think Sam's great, and the fact that you can pull up charts and look at those charts in Sam is awesome. I think it's a great tool. My recommendation, however, is to also have a TradingView account. That way you can spend time with these charts, marking them up, and if for whatever reason Sam isn't working at that moment, you can refer back to the charts here. And I don't know if the charts on Sam will save your drawings like they do when you have an account with TradingView. I don't know if they'll do that. And the nice thing here is if I go to a different chart, right? I go to ANET. right, which we didn't mark up, and then I'm like, oh, did I want to take a trade on TJX? Oh, look, I've already got my lines on here. And I could even write, and you've seen me do it before, some of you, which I highly recommend. You could say, 78-minute TTM play. You're looking at, let's say the 719 calls at 110. I'm making this up, right? Or the 110 calls, 719 expiration, and then you could even put in like, this isn't a earning, but could be an earning series. And then all of a sudden, if you have an alert in here and you go to your TJX chart and you're like, oh, okay, I was looking at this on a 78-minute, I was looking at the 110s earning series, and it's, let's just say it happens to be into a level right here and one of your alerts goes off. You're like, yep, okay, playing this on 78, yep, I'm looking at 719s, and then you don't have to think, you just have to execute, because you've done the work. You know the levels you want to buy at. You know what time frame it is, right? You know which option series you're looking at. And then when it comes into your level, it's just execute, because I've already done that. And that can remind you if you type this stuff in here. And it sets up a trade plan, right? Then you have your entry, you have your exit, and it just stays on the chart. So I definitely recommend having that. I'm going to delete this because that's not what that trade is, but it's just kind of an example. Yeah, I will actually put that in. I'm gonna stop that recording here, and then I'll still answer a few questions.